Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. We are broadcasting live here from our South Florence TV studio again, and I want to start off by just thanking everyone for all their efforts here in Florence, and start off by talking about the students that are broadcasting to make this possible for us this evening. First, Ms. Taylor, who's the teacher here at South Florence. Thank you for coordinating everything and bringing them all together. Melissa Rollins is back there, a public relations officer, who will be taking the questions later on and helping us answer some of those. And then Ms. Kim Mack for putting it all together, keeping everyone smiling and keeping us on task. So I thank her and everyone here at South Florence for making this possible. Our students that are working this evening: Tori Mixon, a senior here at South Florence; Courtney Fulmore, a sophomore; Aubrey Crawford, another senior; Amelia Sprawls, a freshman; Hamilton Sprawls, an 11th grader; and then Trenton Fowler, another 11th grade junior. Thank you so much for making this possible and coming out this evening to help us communicate a lot what's going on here in our community and in our schools. Also joining me this evening are my two wonderful co-hosts here, Ms. Haley Cagle, who is Director of School Improvement, and then Ms. Michelle McBride. She's our Assistant Superintendent for Pre-K through 5. And then they're not my brothers, but they do look like they're related in some way. Kyle Jones, our Chief Technology Officer. And then this evening we have joining us Brian Denny, who is our Assistant Superintendent for Special Services. And we'll be answering a lot of questions towards the end of this program regarding our special needs students and some of the program going on. Also this evening, you'll see flashing behind me is just the magnificent things that are happening here in Florence, whether it's in our houses, our teachers, our kids, all doing our e-learning plan and making it work. And so hopefully you'll get to see some of the great things that are happening. If you follow us on Facebook, you'll see those things, but you'll see all of them standing behind us, as I think that's Greenwood Elementary there as well. So we are going to kick it off by first asking people, as I try to do every time I speak, is to continue to support our local businesses. You'll see not only billboards all across this town, but our local businesses have always supported our schools here. They are the foundation of our economy, and during these tough times, it's really important that everyone supports our local businesses throughout Florence. I've made it a personal mission of mine to go to places that I normally don't go at least once a day to try to support the local businesses, and I encourage everyone out there to do the same because they really need us in these tough times. So thank you, and join me for doing that. I hope you continue to monitor our website, our app. We send out notifications every day that we're in school, a newsletter at the conclusion of every day to make sure you're up to date on everything. Each school is communicating with their communities as well. And so I'm hoping you have the chance and you get plenty of information in those different ways. I'll start off with the question that I get asked the most by everyone, no matter where I go. Yes, we will have a spring break. That'll be April 6th through the 10th. We are all looking for that. Every day it looks like it's not going to be any different than our normal day, but we're going to call it spring break, and it'll look different, but we will have that opportunity to take some time to go back. Right now, we are planning to be back in school on April 13th. That's where we're set. I will tell you that we are in a new normal, and I would ask you to embrace that new normal because it's going to be with us for quite a while. At least up to spring break is going to be some challenging. I appreciate everyone. I can't tell you, there's just not enough time to thank and show appreciation for our bus drivers, our food service. Just in our first week, we were serving over 15,000 meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day in our community. And that's a huge task. That's a large operation, and we're so grateful for them. Our teachers who are, they're in a new normal as well. And e-learning, it looks a lot different for different people and different children, different grade levels, but our teachers are probably working harder now than they've ever worked and exhausted.
Yes.
There are some great videos out there about some grandmas who say they're not math teachers, or they're not homeschool teachers, or this isn't Shoney's or Denny's. But I think what I'll ask everyone as we begin this evening is to have some patience. The next 2 weeks, they say, are going to be our roughest time here in South Carolina, and we're all going to have to continue to work together. It's a stressful time, a lot of people at home, a lot of things going on, parents working. There's a lot of people in our community that are struggling as well with some job losses and things like that. So really keep after your neighbor, say hello, be that shining star in the community, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to do that here in our school district. And we hope tonight we're going to try to do these every Monday just to keep everyone informed. We've got a lot of information to cover, so we're going to just jump into some other things. I don't know what the future predicts. I know today Virginia canceled schools for the remainder of the year. North Carolina did it to May 15th, which is pretty close to their end of the year. I would tell people to brace for things like that. We just don't know. We're just hoping for the best, but we're in it for the long haul. We've got a good plan. We've got great people, and I think that's what we're trying to do. So hopefully we'll be able to answer some of those questions. Let's start off with something that, just to make a little bit of a normalcy to the school district, our report cards. And Haley, you want to tell us a little bit about report cards?
Right. Well, we've ended up our third quarter. We finished it up last week. Report cards usually go out a week after the end of the quarter, and we're following that same protocol. So report cards will be mailed Wednesday, the 25th, March 25th. So everybody should be receiving those before the weekend. So be looking for those school report cards coming in your mailbox.
Yeah, so don't let your children get the mail on Friday or Saturday. Make sure you get your mail, because they'll be coming to a mailbox for you. We definitely wanted to make sure we continued along that, and we're really glad for everyone, their efforts to put that together. I want to remind everyone about teachers' office hours, and those are posted on the website. Elementary is
9 to 11.
Okay.
And then 1 to 3.
And then 1 to 3, and then secondary is
10 to 12 and 2 to 4.
All right, so those are really good opportunities for you as parents or students to get with your teachers and ask those questions, get that extra help that you may need during that period of time. So remember that. Today we announced that our SROs, we have 10 of those school resource officers in all of our schools. We worked with Chief Heidler in the city police, and then Mr. Glenn Kirby on the county deputy sheriff. We're going to redeploy them out to the county and the city, and they could be really utilized in our healthcare facilities and some of the testing centers. So we're glad to return them out to our community, keep our community safe, and to help a lot of people that are struggling right now in different areas. So we announced that today as well. I want to let everyone know that through technology and the great efforts of our technology team, all of our school phones and office phones have been transferred to people. Everybody's like really happy about that. We're able to work from home, and everyone's phones now, your school phone can ring in someone's house. So if you have a question, please call your school office and somebody will pick up. We're tracking those phone calls as well to make sure everyone is getting their questions answered. Any kind of problems they're having, we're trying to keep in touch with the community. So I think that's good. Thank you to technology for making that all work. We appreciate your efforts, and continue along those lines if we could.
Thank you.
Let's see what we got next. So we're going to turn over to technology just for a quick minute. We've added some external Wi-Fi. Kyle, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure thing. So last week we worked aggressively to get our hands on some external access points, and we have mounted those on our schools. If you will check out the F1S website, we have those locations with maps, and I did hold one extra surprise. You know, we take our IT security very seriously, and we inspected those packets this morning, and 100% coronavirus free. So we want our parents to take a look and check out those external resources for our students, and feel free and encourage you to drive to those locations. You can park near those external Wi-Fi units. They actually have great coverage. and have your students, if needed, complete their instructional assignments and activities.
All right, we're going to come back to Ms. McBride to share a little bit about Chromebooks in kindergarten and first grade, and then we'll head back for some questions to Kyle. Michelle, tell us a little about kindergarten, first grade. Are they going to have devices, or it's always going to be packets?
Okay, so for our kindergarten and first grade, what we've talked about is that they've been instructional with Chromebooks all year, and then all of a sudden with e-learning, we have taken those devices back from them. We're going to redistribute devices to our kindergartners and first grade this coming Friday, March 27th, and on March 23rd. Parents must sign a permission form to get those devices to the students. We're going to continue to use Lexia Core 5, which is our reading program, and Dreambox, which is a math program, and teacher-supported web-based programs that they've been using in the classroom. Currently, we're asking teachers to provide a video using technology and for that link to be sent to parents so students can see their teachers as well who don't have access to Google Classrooms. There are a few teachers that are using Google Classroom, but we want to extend beyond that time frame just in case we are extended for our e-learning days. For right now, teachers will continue to use their instructional packets, and again, they'll pick up on the 27th or the 30th, and we will support our students by using our Chromebooks with those web-based programs.
Okay, so we are planning for the long term here, and we just figured at this point in time we need to distribute those Chromebooks to our students, given our potential long term outlook. And I think that's what we're trying to do now. Is we were prepared during the year for these types of things. I think if we prepare for the long term, I think we're going to be better off as well. Anything else, K-1 or under technology in the elementary land? Or
I think that's it for KM1. We're using the Chromebooks for those web-based programs for right now. And hopefully we can extend it to some teacher instructional videos later on.
Anything in secondary for technology that you want to address, or should I go to Kyle? He'll take care of most of them.
I don't think there's a whole lot of changes other than we have done some things on the website that we're going to talk about and push out, but that's Kyle can address most of that.
Kyle, having 3 kids in my house, all using the internet, some good things, some bad things, but they're all pulling a lot of bandwidth. Can you help parents understand, if they're pulling a lot of bandwidth with videos and things like that, what they could do? So any tips for them?
Well, sure. So at my household, when we consume the different activities and lessons, if that's video intensive, I kind of have to load balance to a degree. So your senior may complete the lessons, and then that free up the bandwidth for your 10th grader or 7th grader to complete their activities. So as you experience those times and might max out utilizations in the home network, just kind of keep those tips handy, and I think that you'll find that that's a much smoother process to complete those instructional activities.
Okay. Kyle, I got a few other questions here. Hopefully you'll be able to. Kyle's sort of over to my right in the studio. He's not remote, but he did bring his own microphone, I see, this time again. So.
We got a lot of positive feedback from the Bob Barker microphone.
All right, Kyle, here we go. People are asking about video capabilities, things like Zoom, so their kids can interact more with their class and their teachers. Can you tell us about where the district is going there?
So I'm glad you asked that. We've had a lot of teacher interaction today asking those questions. I do want to say that we will have all these capabilities that were just discussed. Zoom is actually pending integration. We're trying to onboard our F1S accounts so that we can have single sign-on with that. So I will be in touch this week to push those technologies out. Students and teachers 2 through 12 have access to Google Meet, Hangout, Screencastify, Screenomatic, and the Chrome Camera app on their Chromebooks. We're going to utilize all those resources to pre-record videos to interact, and these tool sets are for teachers to create that video instruction. For our teachers out there, please don't hesitate to check out the Tech Tools website on our technology page, and we've got some great videos and tips on there, even as early as today, to help you with these resources.
All right, Kyle, thank you. They want to talk about virtual classrooms. Especially in the middle school, high school area, they want to have some study groups and things like that. Will that be part of this, or how could that possibly work down the road?
So we've talked about students assisting other students in study groups, and we do have capabilities of opening that up per grade level. I'd like to say, for safety of faculty and students, we're going to work on developing guidelines and procedures to monitor and supervise this interaction. I guess you could sum it up as etiquette to our live instruction forthcoming. So that's a work in progress, and we'll have more coming soon.
And our buses are still out. We're down to 5 buses in the...
Down to 5 buses covering those areas. Those locations are also on our website, and we update that daily.
I think it might be a good idea, and probably coming forward this week, is to maybe ask our community through some survey of some sort of those areas that may not have Wi-Fi that they know of. You know, part of this challenge is the people who don't have Wi-Fi may not be able to see this. They don't have any way of interacting, so it's kind of hard to reach them. So I'm trying to figure out from our community if they can help us know of areas where we could get to members of our community that don't have the internet, or at least tell them where they could get to places. So we're going to ask them something coming out from technology.
Yeah, so
maybe?
we'll have a form coming out this week where we'll try to collect names and addresses and even some contact information. If you can help us out with that, we certainly want to continue to canvass, expand, and make sure that those connectivity resources are out there for our students.
Okay. Any movement on the Spectrum 60-day promise or AT&T, or did we get any? I know we had put in an order for some AT&T, and that was the government beat us to the punch there. But any movement on either one of those avenues?
So that's good. We'd like to remind you out there of the Spectrum and AT&T resources. I think we might have a couple bids with our students. How much would you pay for 60 days of these resources? Do we have a cut to them? No. Okay. I thought we might have some bids, but it's going to be 0. So I'd like to give another shout out to Terry Alexander. He helped us into last week tighten up those resources. But Spectrum and AT&T have come to the table, and they are providing 60 days for new accounts or our families that qualify for those resources, totally free. So we're trying to push as much traffic there that way, and we're looking forward to, like Superintendent said last time, if you know somebody, tell somebody.
All right. Thank you, Kyle. I think we'll take a pause on our technology questions there. We'll probably come back to you at some point in time, but we want to make sure that everyone has access and everyone is moving forward as we go and we get into this. We're learning that we were talking about. It's hard to say this, but we have to say this. Our e-learning plan, as everyone else, was designed for a few days, a few weather-related days. I think we've done a great job, probably better than anyone, in our implementation of e-learning throughout our district. But first grade is not designed for e-learning. We're not ready for that. Fourth grade is not designed for e-learning. In K-12, we're a environment where we need to interact with people, and this is sort of the opposite. So we're asking people to just please be patient with all of us as we work through this. And we're not here to say we're better than everybody else, but we are. But we need to work with our teachers because they're learning this as well and trying to make the best of it. They want to see their kids. They want to interact with their kids just like everyone else, and they're really working hard. And so we are trying to ensure that this is a marathon for us. We've got to make sure that we're able to do this just as well next week, 2 weeks from now, 5 weeks from now. And so everything we're doing is to ensure that we're pushing this out on a pace that everyone can have success in. And this week we talked about every teacher having at least every day some sort of pre-recorded video or some video interaction with their class, and to start that push. So anything you want to add to that? I know we're working hard for teachers, and please, if there's anything, when I say support local businesses, there's plenty of florists out there that aren't working hard. So if you want to send your teachers some flowers, I think they'll appreciate just about everything.
We did today also technology, and some people over in the technology department, we talked about creating some things, some resources on a web page, and they started that process for parents and for teachers. A lot of that was already there under our tech tools, but we're trying to make it a little more accessible. And Kyle and Elaine Gambrell, somebody else in our tech department, has really worked on that.
And I think this has been a huge undertaking for our teachers. As Dr. O'Malley said, this is a new for them in teaching, to be teaching virtually and to have everything together for their students. But they're doing a fantastic job of working from home and making sure that they engage with the students.
Yeah, I think it's all across the board, whether you're in schools or not in schools. I think everyone's working harder now than they've ever worked,
Right.
and
New to
to make
everybody.
this work. So again, for those of you tuning in, parents, grandparents, we're really trying to work. We're trying to put up some extra videos and resources to help people be that teacher at home. And I think it's going to get stressful if it isn't already. But I think we need some patience as we try to get through this together, and the coming weeks are going to be our biggest test. So bear with us. So let's go to a couple other topics that I've been asked about. So how about dual enrollment at FMU? Let me tell you what we know right now for next year. They usually have a mid-April deadline for those juniors. If you go on the FMU dual enrollment, the website, and go under dual enrollment, there is the registration online. They actually put a special section just for Florence One schools, so you can go there and begin that process. We thank Francis Marion for doing that. New students who want to participate in dual enrollment in the fall of 2020 should go there, and they can sign up, or they can reach out to their guidance counselor. Again, their phones are linked ahead to their cell phones, so you can contact your guidance counselor. So FMU, for those juniors, for those classes next year, you can begin to prepare or call your guidance counselor to make sure that if you need any assistance in registration. Florence Darlington Technical College is still enrolling for dual enrollment as well in the fall of 2020, and it's also on their website. So Francis Marion, Florence Darlington Tech, if you're interested in dual enrollment for next school year, the fall of 2020, which will be here sooner than we think, because we pushed it back, by the way. You can register there. Any assistance, please contact your guidance counselor. We appreciate them for helping us through this time as well. I do kind of jump topics here, but one of the things we're trying to do, another group of people that are working hard as well every single day, is our bus drivers. We have over 31 locations in our community. They're delivering food. We're trying to get some of our buses, the maintenance done on our buses, so we'll be sort of pulling back on the Wi-Fi now that we have those external sort of Wi-Fi adapters. And we're going to try to work on a schedule where every one of our bus drivers has at least one day off. Again, we're looking at this long term, and we're trying to make sure everyone is healthy and strong, not only today, not only next week, but 4 or 5 weeks from now. So we're going to try to do that with our bus drivers. So you can please continue to look at our website for some of the Wi-Fi buses and their locations as those change, and some of the routes that our bus drivers are taking in the delivery of our food service. We thank them, we appreciate them and everything they're doing to make that work. Our food service as well, again, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I don't know of any other South Carolina school district that is doing all three separate. Everyone's kind of combined and trying to make it work. They're just magnificent, and they're doing it 3 times a day, getting out there into our communities. Like I said, 15,000 meals every time, every day, and that's an awful lot for them to do. So we are also trying to do that with them and give them a day off every week so they can have some time with their family, stay healthy. And so we'll have some changes to food service, but it'll be maybe scaling back a day or combining a breakfast and lunch. But we're also trying to make sure everyone in our organization who's working hard every day has a breather as well for the long term. So those are the food service and the school bus drivers. Let's kind of shift back to academics. We'll bring in Haley here. She's been really quiet, and we'll give her a chance. So a lot of parents have been asking about AP tests and IB. Can you tell us about where we stand with those?
I can. They finally released some information on that. So the IB, we'll start with that first. They have canceled IB testing. IB examinations are just not going to be held this year due to COVID-19. Depending on what students are registered for, as far as which exam they're registered for, they're going to be awarded a diploma or a course certificate which reflects their standard of work based upon their coursework and the expertise of the assessments that's been ongoing. More or less what they're saying is what they've already been doing in their class. So they're going to base that on what they're doing currently because they hold them to such a high standard within their current classes. More details about that are going to come out. They're going to have some frequently asked questions that are going to be addressed and sent out no later than March 27th. So for now, that's pretty much all we know. There's going to be more details coming out March 27th. So you IB students and parents, be on the lookout for that information coming from your IB director and coming out here shortly. AP is going to be a little bit different. AP exams, they're going to give them virtually this year. So if you're in an AP course, it's going to look a lot different. There's going to be no questions from the final units, which are usually given in March and April. They're going to take those questions off the exam. The exam's going to be much shorter, 45 minutes to an hour. It's also going to be open book. They're going to make them, they even said they're going to make them accessible via a mobile phone. So they're trying to make it as simple as possible without taking away what those students have been working for their whole, school career. A lot of these kids have for IB and AP. So they're trying to make them accessible and they're trying to ease us a little bit and not stress us out, but in the same sense still give us the opportunity to earn those credits for AP and IB. AP too, also, they're going to have a full exam schedule published by April 3rd. So AP students and parents, April 3rd is when we're going to have more details for you. IB is March 27th to look for more details, and AP is April 3rd.
Excellent. Since they're on a roll, what else do we want to cancel on state and federal
Yeah.
tests? You got any news there?
I do have some news there. The state really wants us to focus on continuing to learn and staying healthy more than they do on worrying about standardized testing, and I have a lot of respect for that. So we are canceling many of our state tests, SC Ready and SC Pass in grades 3 through 8. Those are canceled. Our end of course exams for Algebra 1, English 1, English 2, Biology, and U.S. History are all canceled. There's another test called SC Aud. If your student took that, it's been canceled. The 4K readiness test at the end of the year has been canceled. And then IB, as I discussed. So far, they're saying we're still going to keep an SAT. They're trying to keep that SAT and work that in because students need that, not just our seniors, but our juniors. So they're going to try to work that in, but there's no date on when they're going to put that in. Another one they say they're still trying to get in is our When Are Ready to Work. Haven't heard any details about how they're going to get this one tested, but as soon as we do, we will let you know. So those are the ones that they're planning on keeping, but most of them they're doing away with because they want us to worry about educating in our virtual environments and how students are learning and things like that other than worrying about state tests.
Don't you just find it fascinating? Unfortunately, it takes a really bad incident for us to find $1 trillion in our federal government to do things, and then we could just cancel state testing at a whim. So it's amazing. I do appreciate our state superintendent, Molly Spearman. She was granted authority by the state to waive any state regulations, and she has not held back to do that. So we're very appreciative to have her on our team, and she works pretty tirelessly every day. She does a conference call with all the superintendents around the state, and she's really been great to try to make all of this work for us. So I want to thank her. So we've got no federal or state testing. IB tests are canceled. The Summer Olympics, I think, are canceled now as well, and then AP tests will go on. Students will be able to take them at home.
Yep, open book at home, even via a telephone.
I can hear the cheering going on in my house right now. That's by children. I'm not necessarily the teachers, but I can hear the cheering. With those regulations and those things passing, we should be hearing some things come in the coming weeks about this 200 minutes and the required number of minutes and a lot of relaxation of some of the mandates that would be in a normal school environment that they'll be kind of going back on. anything else under the academics for secondary that you wanted to share?
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
that's about all for me.
All right, we're going to jump back and forth from testing to a different type of testing. People want to know about Accelerated Reader. It's very popular. What's happening in elementary with Accelerated Reader? Has that been canceled?
It has not.
Okay, that's good news.
Accelerator Reader is one of our reading comprehension tests that's digital that we use for our elementary students. It became active this past Friday. So yay for Accelerator Reader. Thank you to our technology department for changing the settings to allow students to utilize it from home. They can operate it Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. But I do want to remind students, if you have a picture book, make sure that you read the picture book 3 times before testing. And if your parents could please quiz you before taking the test. I know it's an inconvenience to not utilize our media centers. Our public library is not available, but we have free digital resources that students could use to do digital books that they can use for our Accelerated Reader program. And parents, I know you're excited. We've had a few students test it at home. It is working, and so we're very excited to offer that from home for our students.
Where do they get the books? Where can parents go? Is there a link on our website? Where would they get that? Kyle, any help
Do
on
we
it?
have a link that they can go to for some free digital books?
We could add that to that page.
I think that's going to be forthcoming tomorrow. It sounds like.
I could just feel the grandmas coming through the
Yeah.
screen saying, "Where do I get these books? Where do I get these books?" All right, so we'll be able to put that on our website or the school website so they can have access to some books so they can begin doing AR and reading. That would be a really good thing to do in this time.
And I do want to say that usually when we do our AR program, they have a reading range. For this program, while we're utilizing it at home, you do not have to read within your reading range. We just want students to have a book and enjoy for interests.
Okay, excellent. Anything else under the academics in elementary that we didn't get a chance to mention, or?
I think we've covered everything.
Okay, we'll come back, but that's good news. Let's shift. Although there's schools closed and things are happening in the e-learning environment, our schools are still moving forward with our plan. If you happen to see last week, McClanagan High School, that renovation just started. That should be done by May of 2021. So a lot of people have been looking forward to that in the community. So it's really excited to have that started. And Greenwood is getting a gym. Greenwood Elementary School is getting a gym. So that started this week as well. So we've really got some good projects. All of our maintenance projects are continuing to happen. Some of the things that we were going to do in the summer are now happening. You can check all this out on Florence One Builds on our website, and you can see all the maintenance projects and some pictures in all the different schools. And a lot of that will be accelerated now that our schools are closed and have an opportunity to continue to build the school district forward. Our custodians who've been out will return to work tomorrow. And on a sort of a modified schedule. They'll be cleaning the schools and really trying to get some projects done as well. So we're very glad to have them back doing some good social distancing as they work.
Yes.
4 custodians in a large building, you can hide very quick. I mean, you can work in different kind of different places very well. So we're very appreciative of them and respect the job that they do in our schools every day. So we're thankful for them and our maintenance department. Our maintenance department will be out, making sure that our schools are clean in the front and still cutting grass and doing those things that have to continue in our schools. The next topic I want to address is if you don't know, all of our schools have school-based therapists, and those school-based therapists are working both at Woods Road and doing telehealth. And what I wanted to share with everyone is that they are using a variety of tools to have contact with our students and their caseloads, whether it's Google Classroom, Google's Meets, telephone calls, daily check-ins, emails, any online therapeutic interventions. So that's still happening, which is fabulous. They can contact their school-based therapist or Miss Lisa Spears. That phone number is 843-292 1027 if anyone needs some on-site counseling or has to have access to counseling. Those services are still continuing for our students, and I thank Lisa Spears for coordinating that and keeping that program going for some really needy students in our school district, and we're appreciative of them as well. Our school nurses, again, are always available for phone calls. Please call the school or the school nurses. Tomorrow we'll have a little bit of an announcement about what our school nurses are doing to help in our community, and so we're really appreciative of our school nurses and what they do and what they're going to be doing in our community, and we're proud of them, and we're very thankful we have some of the best school nurses throughout this country, and happy to have them here in Florence One Schools. Seniors, I know everyone wants to ask me about prom and graduation. My daughter asks me 3 times every other minute of the day. Right now, we're just looking to get back to school. If we can get back to school, then we can ensure that those things will happen. And we're just moving forward. So on each high school's website is the graduation orders pickup. That'll be happening this week. Is that correct? This week. It'll be a drive-through, so I think it's alphabetical, and take a look at your time. So please make sure you pick up your graduation stuff. I think we want to continue to motivate that we're going to have graduation, we're going to have prom, and we're going to try to get back to a sense of normalcy that we can as soon as we can, and we're really optimistic about those. Right now I'm going to change paths to talk about special education and some of the items that are really difficult to manage in this time. We talk about younger grades wanting to or having the ability to interact. Our students with special needs have IEPs for a reason. They have certain things that have to take place, and now that we're in this new normal, we're trying to make these things work. Brian Denny is joining us this evening. Brian, you want to start off by talking about IEP meetings and where we are with those and what you foresee is happening?
Sure. It looks like right now most districts across the state are not having IEP meetings. Our goal is to get there, whether it's through Zoom or through Google app, to have IEP meetings. We may not have everybody in person, but to make sure that we still meet those mandates, because right now the feds have not taken those mandates off of us to continue to have IEP meetings. Right now it's going to be, again, it's the new normal. And we're just going to have to be sure that we make sure we have those meetings with those parents and continue to have those. But it's just going to be different. More different is not the right way to say it, but it's going to be more different than it's ever been before having IEP meetings. But that's our goal, is to move forward and continue to have those meetings.
All right. How about speech and OT and PT? That's all part of a student's plan. Any ideas how, if we could implement something now, maybe in the summer, or what's your thoughts on for parents who have questions regarding speech?
Right. So our goal is to make up any missed therapy, whether it's OT, speech, PT, is to make that up, whether it's during the summer. But we're working with technology department to be sure that we can do some teletherapy. So if there's any therapy we can do while the students at home and our therapists at home, we're going to be pushing that out this week. Also on Thursday, we're going to open up the Beck Center, and so some of our therapists are going to be contacting parents, and if students are well enough, they'll be able to go to the Beck Center and get some one-to-one therapy. Of course, we're going to take all the precautions necessary. We're going to have a nurse there to check students. If anybody is sick, they're not going to be allowed in. They're going to have to go home. But we're going to be working with those parents so they're able to bring those students in, because as the weeks go by, it's going to be more difficult to make up the time. There's not going to be enough hours in the day to make that time up. We're going to be pushing out some curriculum through Goldbook, which is a program that we have that helps develop IEPs. We're going to be using Unique Learning System to help push out more resources to teachers, and again using Zoom and some Google apps to get some instruction out there where the student actually interacts with the teacher through our technology.
All right, Brian, so we're really pushing to make sure we're trying to continue along that path, and you've got some options for some of the therapies that we're going to try to see what we can do. We know whenever we do get back, we're going to make up those services, right. Whether it's in the summer or doubling up, whatever it may be. I think we're committed to making sure that those services for our students are there. Anything else you want to address that your department is working on?
Talking about things that have been, one thing we talked about things that were canceled. I know that Special Olympics has been canceled, so I know that was, we have our students to look forward to that every year, so that it was a big deal for us to hear that. It wasn't unexpected, but it was something that everybody's having to deal with. Just making sure the students have what they need. The teachers are checking in on the children. Hopefully they're calling. We're asking them to do videos just like we are other teachers. Anything that, if a parent says, hey, I'm not hearing from someone, we want them to call our department so we can make sure that that is happening. If you're not hearing from a therapist or a teacher, we want to make sure that they're getting the resources that they need.
Phone numbers,
Sure.
contact information, are they on the website?
I'll give a phone number, 843-673-1161.
Okay. We appreciate that. We appreciate how hard everyone in your department is working to ensure that we have our educational services delivered. And again, any questions, call the school. The phone lines go to a phone, email a teacher, email any kind of case manager, email Brian Denny, and we can make sure that services are. We're going to get through this. We're going to make sure that we do everything we can to have the services now and try some different things as we move into this, as we move forward. But those are some of the things that we've got to try to get to and make it work. And if anyone has any ideas on what we can do better, please share those. Before and after, people were never shy to give us a call and let us know what we're doing well in or need to do a little bit better. So continue those things, because we do want to be better, and we want to make sure that we get through this, not only just to get through this, but get through this with some fidelity and the way that we can sort of move forward once this all passes us by. A couple other things, questions talking about will we be able to deliver packets on the buses. Right now, we're not delivering any packets and don't have any plans to do that. Most of our buses are being utilized either for maintenance, for food service, so we're just having people pick up the packets or having a neighbor or someone else come and get a packet. Someone asked, are we eventually going to do a food route where all meals are given at one time? Right now, we're managing the routes and having separate breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I could see maybe down the road, in order to give everyone a break, we may combine like a breakfast and a lunch, or maybe take off a route or two. But right now we've got a great operation going, and I think serving that many meals shows, most importantly, that we have a need. And I know a lot of us have been out and delivering and serving meals, and we see what effect it has on our community. So we're committed to that the best we can, and I don't feel like going backwards too much, but only to try to alter that a little bit. And then finally, again, I'll say, if you know someone, or say something, whether it's internet or someone doesn't able to get on the computer or needs a charger, whatever it may be, help us help them by making sure that everyone gets a chance to be heard and gets it done, and we'll get through this. I think one of the things that we could share is, I talked about, one of the things coming in as a superintendent is equity throughout our schools. And I think you really see we have the services in every school. I mean, I think that's something that should be highlighted here is, whether it's resources or programs, the leadership in each of the schools is just phenomenal. So, I think hopefully everyone sees that we really truly have equity in our schools. I think this is really highlighting it.
I think so. It's one of the things that the principals really enjoy is the equity in the schools, and for it not to differ from school to schools. So when we talk about our web-based programs and those kind of initiatives, they are throughout our district.
I think they're definitely leaning on each other now to try to, go through these uncharted waters, I should say. So I think everybody's leaning and trying to make the best of it.
Absolutely. Kyle, Brian, any other final thoughts before we get to some questions?
So, a couple things. I think that we had a couple questions on student accountability. I just want to assure our parents and community that we have admin dedicated as co-teachers to help monitor those Google Classrooms and engage parents. I think that's important. 2 through 12 teachers are making daily phone calls to our parents if an assignment is not completed in Google Classroom, and KM1 teachers are reaching out to parents if they have not picked up the latest instructional packets. So I think those are two good things. And then I love the Facebook Live piece. I've had many texts and emails just recently. I want to assure everybody that, and Ms. McBride, that we do have plenty of free instructional links for books, so there'll be plenty of reading going on and test taking.
Yes, I think we were close to maybe 28,000 people viewed the last time, so we're trying to raise our ratings. I don't know what I'll do for us other than our egos, but we're trying to make sure we hit 30,000. But we'll be trying to do these every Monday. I think it's a good way to reach our community and have this out there and share as much information as we can. So let's go to some questions that some of our viewing audience, that sounds awesome, doesn't it? Our viewing audience is asking us. The first one is, there going to be credit recovery once school resumes? Haley, you want to?
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, actually, those classes should be available now online. The Apex is opened up. So if you have not heard from your teacher, if you would please contact your teacher or either contact your principal, because that is something that we should, you should already have access to.
Okay. Next question is, what about Career Center students?
Career Center students also, you should have heard from your teachers by now. We do have a couple of classes that we're checking into, cosmetology being one of them, because of the state board regulations. So there's a few things within the Career Center that we're having to make some changes and kind of figure things out. But you should have heard from your teachers. If you haven't, contact your teacher, contact us, contact Ms. Carpenter. I know that they're all reaching out. It was week 1, and that is a lot different with the Career Center versus some of the other places. But everybody in both of those places should be reaching out to you, and you should have already received Google Classroom links for them.
It feels like 5 years, but really it's only been
It's
5
been
days.
5 days.
5
Yeah,
days, and we're going to start week number 2 tomorrow. And so please hang with us. The next question is, are sports officially canceled? They're not officially canceled, but we can pretty much say, given the time period, it all depends on when we get back. I don't foresee any kind of long season, but they're officially not canceled yet, and we're officially coming back to school on April 13th. So that's what we do know. Pay attention. The governor does a press conference quite frequently at 4 o'clock, and I would say this week is going to be a pretty tough week for South Carolina and this virus. So pay attention. I think some of those decisions may be made this week. How can we help with delivering meals?
Yes. So we welcome volunteers to help us deliver meals. For our high school students, we're asking that you come with a parent and that you follow behind the school buses. There are no students allowed on the school buses. And we even welcome our staff to volunteer to help with the delivery of meals.
Yeah, they can contact the school, they can contact me, they can contact food service. All that information's on the website. The school is always the best and offer your services, whether you want to do just a breakfast or all 3 meals, however you want to do it. We are definitely willing to take volunteers to help, and I think for those of us that have done it, it's been a really nice thing to help in the community. And those bus drivers, those food service people are working really hard every single day, and we appreciate them. Please repeat the information for first grade students to pick up Chromebooks.
Okay, Chromebooks are available for pickup this coming Friday, March 27th, and on Monday, March 30th.
All right, one more time for those of us.
This coming Friday, March 27th, and Monday, March 30th.
All right, I think those are all the questions that we have. Wow, I think we did a great job answering those questions. I appreciate our special guests, my 2 older brothers over there, Kyle Jones and Brian Denny. Thank you for being with us. My 2 co-hosts here, thank you very much. Anything parting questions or thoughts that we didn't cover? Yeah, absolutely. Everybody loves a good parade.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So,
Fabulous.
so we had a few elementary schools that participated in community parades that started yesterday, I think, with Timrod Elementary Schools, where they went into the community with the caravan of cars just to say hello to their students and let their students know that they missed them. McLaurin did the same. along with Greenwood today, and I think Leicester has a parade planned for Wednesday.
And can they see? Is that on Facebook?
It is on Facebook. I think it's been shared with Florence One Schools page, but you can also look on those individual school pages on Facebook to see the parades.
Awesome. Anything?
It was great to see that on the faces of the kids and the teachers, for that matter. They were so excited.
I think some decorated their cars.
They
had
did,
signs.
and
Great.
blowing the horns. It was
was
really,
And hopefully the weather will get a little bit better. I think it might stop raining. I'm not sure.
I think it's supposed to stop raining tomorrow. So
Tomorrow, Wednesday. It's
Okay.
supposed to be a beautiful weekend.
So that'll.
The weather girl here.
Somebody has to be optimistic. I appreciate everyone listening in. We'll do it again next Monday night, same time. Questions, send them to us, or don't wait for our questions to be answered. Call the schools, email your teachers, contact someone. Don't wait. I also encourage you again, support our local businesses. No matter what it is, you still need your car washed, you still need to get your oil changed, buy flowers, go to a restaurant, drive through, don't stop in. And there's plenty of things happening in our community, the local pharmacy, those kinds of things. Just make sure, because as we get into this, our economy in here in Florence will suffer. And as long as we do our part, I think we can help tremendously. I thank everyone for implementing this, doing the best they can. Teachers, we know you're struggling out there, and the grandma's doing the homeschool and those things, but we're going to try to do our best to give resources, whether it's videos or reteaching materials, to try to help everyone. But we can get through this together, and let us know what we need to do to help you. And we appreciate everyone here in Florence and trying to make this work. And as we say every time, it's our time to shine. And I think everyone really sees what we're doing here in Florence, and we'll continue to try to get better every week.
Right.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
thank you.